In a world that often overlooks the silent cries of children, a deep and unrelenting ache often lingers, etching its mark onto the heart and soul of the innocent. Noah, at just 11 years of age, found himself enveloped in the cold grasp of loneliness, living in a foster home where children floated in and out of his life like shadows piercing through the fog. Each day presented the same emptiness, laughter that echoed off the walls yet never warmed his heart. He felt invisible, a mere spectre passing through life unacknowledged as the vibrant voices around him blurred into a mere symphony of isolation. His memories, however, were tinged with a sorrow that tethered him to a painful past. He had lost his parents in a tragic accident shrouded in mystery, the details a fog that haunted his young mind with questions he dared not voice. In the confines of his dimly lit room, sitting on an old mattress that sagged under the weight of his sorrow, he gripped a small rusty key he had discovered beneath the bed, its cold metal a stark contrast to the warmth he so desperately craved. This key felt heavy with significance, symbolizing the locked doors of his fractured heart where hope and belonging waited to be awakened. If you find yourself carrying a similar weight in your chest, consider liking and subscribing, for perhaps someone out there needs to hear this story today. A reminder that they are not alone in their struggle. As he glanced around, surrounded by cardboard boxes filled with clothes left over from children who had come and gone, remnants of lives discarded and forgotten, Noah felt the suffocating loneliness curdle in his chest. The room, steeped in the dull scent of fabric softener, was more like a prison than a home. It echoed with memories of fleeting friendships, stolen moments of laughter, and the harsh reality of loss. He could barely remember the faces of his parents, yet the bittersweet essence of their love lingered within him like fading whispers. He recalled the way his mother's laughter would wrap around him like a comforting embrace, and how his father's playful ruffles through his hair ignited pure joy. But those memories were increasingly dulled by time, replaced with the stark reality of the orphanage's cold, indifferent walls that seemed to mock his existence. Days rolled into nights filled with echoes of children's laughter, always just beyond his reach, reminding him that he was a temporary fixture, an afterthought in a world that moved on without him. It was in this profound solitude that a letter arrived, stark against the backdrop of his bleak surroundings, its presence exotic and foreign. His heart quickened at the sight of his name scrawled in unfamiliar handwriting, a small spark of curiosity breaking through the monotony of his days. It was news he had never expected to hear. His grandparents, whom he had never met, had passed away, leaving him a gift that felt almost surreal. A secluded cabin nestled deep within the embrace of the forest. The weight of this information crashed over him like a tidal wave, igniting a flicker of hope that his heart had clung to through the years. The thought of having a place of his own, far removed from the oppressive atmosphere of the foster home, sent shivers of excitement racing through his body. What secrets lay within those forested borders? Would he find solace, a hint of connection to the family he barely knew but longed for? Yet amid the burgeoning excitement lurked the shadows of hesitation and fear. Venturing into the unknown felt daunting. After all, so much of his life had been spent in the shadows, slipping through the cracks of existence, never quite belonging. Yet the idea of exploring this cabin began to whisper gently to his heart, a beckoning that urged him to discover the roots of his lineage and unveil the mysteries that had bound him in silence for far too long. Noah's life had been a silent battle against the ghosts of his past, a tapestry woven with threads of heartache and longing that colored every waking moment. Memories of his parents, though faint, loomed heavily in his mind, a juxtaposition of love and agony that shadowed his soul. The warmth he once felt, cocooned in their affection, faded into the chill of reality, the brightness of his childhood dimming with the starkness of their absence. He could barely conjure the image of their faces. They had become distant figures in a dream that slipped further away with each passing year. The scent of his mother's perfume, a sweet and floral reminder of safety, often lingered in his thoughts, a fleeting fragrance that transported him back to kinder days. He remembered, too, how his father's gentle laughter would ripple through the air, a sound as comforting as a warm blanket on a cold evening. Both had taught him the simple joys of life, yet that joy crumbled in an instant when he received that fateful phone call. The very fabric of his existence unraveled, leaving him grasping for the pieces of a life that was stolen away, a cruel twist of fate he struggled to comprehend. Days spent at the orphanage were marked by an overwhelming sense of transience. Children came and went, each departure echoing in his heart, a reminder of his own impermanence. He would watch as friends were whisked away into new homes, their laughter trailing behind them like the fading notes of a forgotten song. The cold, hard walls of the institution seemed to absorb those sounds, trapping them within the suffocating confines of a place stripped of warmth and belonging. Noah often retreated into himself, gathering the fragments of sorrow and isolation, stacking them like bricks around his heart, crafting a fortress to shield himself from the pain of inevitable goodbyes. The sensations were palpable: the feel of the fraying carpet beneath his bare feet, the ever-present scent of stale meals, and the low hum of conversations around him, all too often interspersed with silence that clung to him like a shroud. Yet within the depths of his solitude, there flickered a resilient spark, nurtured by the powerful memories of the family he once knew. The essence of his parents persisted, woven into his very being, a connection that fortified his spirit even as he felt the weight of abandonment. The desire to belong, to uncover his roots and understand what had transpired, clung to him with an urgency he could no longer ignore. The letter had dropped into his life like a stone thrown into a still pond, sending ripples of emotions across his heart. He imagined the cabin nestled among the trees, whispered secrets beckoning him from the shadows, the promise of discovery flickering like the first light of dawn. The opportunity to reclaim a part of his past ignited something within him, something he hadn't felt in a long time. A glimmer of hope, a chance to piece together the fragments of his identity. With the passing days, the allure of the cabin consumed his thoughts. He envisioned stepping across its threshold, inhaling the scent of unspoiled wood and earthy musk, and stepping into a world that might yield the answers he craved. Would it hold remnants of his family left behind, artifacts of love and legacy waiting to be uncovered? The very idea made his heart race with anticipation and fear, a dance of emotions swirling within him like autumn leaves caught in a gust of wind. He longed to touch the surfaces that had been familiar to his parents, to feel their presence in every nook and cranny of that sanctuary lost in the woods. The thought of finally having a place to call his own, filled with the spirit of his lineage, ignited an undeniable urge to venture forth, to take the first steps away from the orphanage and toward a future untainted by the pain of loss. As the day of his departure approached, a tide of emotions washed over him. Fear, excitement, and a burgeoning resolve that carried him through waves of uncertainty. He packed the few belongings he had accumulated over the years: worn-out clothes, a beloved stuffed animal that had been his solace through the darkest nights, and the rusty key, the one symbolizing not just a door to a cabin, but to an inheritance both tangible and intangible that held the promise of unveiling the truth about his family. This modest collection encapsulated a history he was eager to explore, a life he yearned to understand beyond the shadows of solitude he had inhabited for so long. As he prepared to leave, Noah took a moment to linger in his bedroom, the walls echoing with memories that felt like ghosts bidding farewell. The atmosphere was heavy, yet charged with anticipation, a poignant reminder that while he was stepping away from an environment fraught with sadness, he might finally embark on a journey to learn who he truly was. The decision to venture to the cabin felt monumental, igniting a flicker of bravery within him. He was ready to uncover the layers of his past, to finally connect the dots that had been scattered across the expanse of his brief life. In this moment of quiet reflection, amidst the remnants of his childhood, Noah discovered that the journey ahead would not just be about finding a cabin. It was about reclaiming his narrative, forging a path from the ashes of his past into a future filled with promise. The cabin awaited, a lighthouse in the fog of his life, ready to guide him towards understanding, healing, and ultimately, belonging. The journey to the cabin enveloped Noah in a whirlwind of anticipation and apprehension. Each step on the narrow dirt path through the forest a reminder of his longing for connection. The trees stood tall, their leaves whispering together in harmony, yet beneath the beauty lay the weight of uncertainty. Clutching the rusty key in his pocket, he drew strength from its presence, a tangible symbol of his quest to uncover the family mysteries that had long eluded him. At last, the cabin emerged like a ghost from the past, cloaked in the vibrant greens of the forest. Its weathered facade told stories of time and loss, a stark contrast to the lively memories he formed in his mind. As he approached, a mix of trepidation and excitement surged through him. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and pine, igniting a sense of nostalgia that stirred within him, beckoning him closer to this space that held promises of revelation. He stepped inside, and the door creaked, a sound that echoed in the silence, welcoming him home. The cabin was dim, light filtering through the dusty windows, casting shadows that danced across the floor. Noah breathed in the musty air, laden with the weight of unspoken histories. A worn couch sat against the wall, accompanied by a table draped in years of neglect. Broken remnants of a family life lay scattered, each item steeped in stories that belonged to someone else but touched him deeply. His gaze was drawn immediately to a staircase descending into darkness. Beneath the weight of curiosity and apprehension, he approached, heart pounding like a drum. The basement represented the heart of uncertainty, a plunge into the unknown, yet it was also a gateway to discovery. With stealing resolve, he flicked on a hanging light bulb. It emitted a weak glow, illuminating a space filled with dust and memories longing to be uncovered. Among the forgotten relics, Noah found an old trunk tucked away in a corner, its battered surface whispering of secrets held within. With a shaky breath, he knelt before it, the promise of revelation igniting his heartbeat. He lifted the rusty latch. The creak echoed through the silence, almost a call to the family he barely knew. Lifting the lid revealed a trove of letters stacked meticulously, their yellowed pages hinting at a connection to history lost to him. With trembling hands, he picked up the first letter. His heart raced as he recognized his mother's elegant script, the letters dancing on the page like long-lost friends. Each letter unfolded a narrative of love and longing, sharing tales of triumphs intertwined with struggles. They revealed the fragility of family bonds, detailing the warmth of home, but also the weight of secrets that had cast shadows on their happiness. It was a realization. His parents were not mere memories, but real people living flawed lives, fighting against circumstances that threatened to tear them apart. Noah sifted through fading photographs, each image a testament to a world once vibrant and alive. He found a picture of his parents smiling, radiating warmth, their eyes filled with dreams. A surge of emotion hit him like a tidal wave. He was not just reading words, he was rediscovering himself through their shared history. The trunk became a bridge to a lineage he yearned to grasp, a key that unlocked the door to answers about his existence. Yet with each joyful memory came the painful knowledge of an underlying betrayal, hidden beneath a surface of love. The letters hinted at strains in relationships, at battles fought in silence, one they could not escape from. As he pieced together fragments of their story, Noah felt a mix of admiration and heartbreak for the sacrifices they made. Their love had been real but not without consequence. They were entangled in a web of decisions that shaped his destiny. With newfound determination, Noah emerged from the basement, a sense of clarity washing over him. The cabin was not just a building filled with dust, but a vessel of his family's legacy, a place to honor their struggles and resilience. With each step back into the light, he shed the weight of isolation that had bound him for years. He was ready to embrace his past, to learn not only about his parents, but also about himself, about the strength that coursed through his veins, the courage that pulsed in his heart. The journey ahead would not simply be about uncovering more mysteries. It was about reclaiming his story, connecting his present to a past that had sought him out in the most beautiful, unexpected way. Noah stood at the cabin's entrance, the world around him humming with life. The forest stretched out before him, a reminder that, though he had faced great loss, he was now connected to something greater, a legacy of love waiting to be embraced. He took a deep breath, heart steadying, ready to forge ahead, equipped with the knowledge of who he was and the understanding that he had the power to reshape his narrative. With the weight of the past fresh in his heart, Noah stepped outside the cabin, the air vibrant with promise. Each breath filled him with determination, yet lingering uncertainty twisted in his stomach. He had ventured into the depths of his family's history, but what lay ahead? He found himself grappling with a myriad of emotions, a hunger for understanding, a need to confront the ghosts that had lingered since his childhood, and a desire to not only honor his parents' memory, but to find a way to make their sacrifices worthwhile. Noah wandered deeper into the forest, each step taken with purpose. The world around him felt alive, the rustling leaves and chirping birds weaving a soundtrack that brought him comfort in the uncertainty he faced. As he walked, fragments of the letters replayed in his mind, memories of love and sacrifice mingled with hints of betrayal that had started the unraveling of his family. What had happened to them? What secrets lay buried in the roots of his lineage? He longed to know how to honor their struggles while making sense of his own existence. His legs carried him to a clearing filled with wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze. The dazzling colors danced beneath the sun, each petal a reminder of the beauty that, like life, could emerge from the darkest of places. He plopped down on the soft ground, allowing the energy of nature to wash over him, harnessing the strength it provided. Thoughts swirled as he pondered all that had taken place. He was teetering on the brink of discovering something monumental, yet the shadows of the past loomed over him like an unshakable fog. As day turned to dusk, Noah decided to return to the cabin, the allure of the letters still drawing him back to the trunk in the basement, where the stories of his parents waited to be unearthed. He flipped through the letters again, tracing his fingers over the ink and the words that had begun to feel like a conversation with the parents he never truly knew. Each letter revealed glimpses of their love story, but there were also hints of discontent, unresolved disputes that sparked curiosity about what ultimately led to the fracture of their family. In one particularly poignant letter, his mother described a confrontation with a family member who had sought to harbor lingering resentment. The words danced with tension, her struggles bleeding through the pages. Noah could feel her heartache. He imagined her with furrowed brows, ink-stained hands writing desperately to capture the turmoil of a life marked by complexities. His heart ached for the woman whose laughter he barely remembered, and a fire of resolve ignited within him. He wouldn't allow their story to end in sorrow. He would face it with courage, just as they had faced their battles. Determined to confront the shadows that loomed large in his family history, Noah sought out the family member mentioned in the letter, a distant aunt he had vaguely heard about in passing. After consulting the hastily scribbled contact information on one of the letters, he navigated back to town, his thoughts swirling with hopeful trepidation. Would this woman be willing to share the fragments of the past that could complete the puzzle of his family? The moment he knocked on the door, his heart raced. An older woman with streaks of silver in her hair answered, her expression laced with surprise and a hint of recognition. Introducing himself, Noah felt a wave of vulnerability wash over him, his voice barely above a whisper as he expressed his desire to learn more about his family, about the struggles they faced, and the love that came before the heartbreak. The woman's demeanor shifted, her defenses softening, and she welcomed him inside, leading him to a cozy living room adorned with family photographs. As they sat together, he recounted the story of the trunk and the letters, sharing the pieces he had already uncovered. The woman listened intently, her eyes glistening with an array of emotions. It was not long before she revealed her own history, a story intertwined with his parents' lives filled with laughter, accomplishments, and dreams cut painfully short. Noah absorbed her words, the backstory painting a fuller picture of the fabric that bound them as family. They spoke for hours about love lost and love found, about the importance of connections that challenged the very fabric of familial ties. He learned about the struggles they faced, the deep-seated conflicts born from loyalty and betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of belonging against the backdrop of familial turmoil. His aunt revealed a forgotten chapter, a revelation that changed everything he thought he understood about his past. With a quivering voice, she spoke of a family rift rooted in pride, one that had seen his parents torn apart by choices made in pain. But within the tidings of sorrow were also stories of love, moments of joy that had once filled the air with laughter. He listened, absorbing each word as if they were fragments of his parents' souls returning to him. The emotions swirled within him, an amalgamation of sadness, understanding, and an overwhelming sense of belonging. The pieces of his identity began weaving together with each heartfelt exchange. He could feel the shadows lifting, the weight of secrecy dissolving in the refocusing light of understanding. As their conversation drew to a close, Noah could feel the flickering flame of hope igniting within him once more, a vision blooming of how he would carry his family's legacy forward. His heart surged with a new understanding. The burden of the past did not need to define him, but rather inspire him to live a life that honored their struggles and the strength born from their love. The love that endured beyond all pain crystallized into a legacy of resilience, an unbreakable bond that connected him to his family, one that he would carry forward. Noah left his aunt's home renewed, resolute in his decision to forge not just his own story, but to honor those who had loved before him. He felt an invincible strength in his heart, a sense of renewal that would guide him back to the cabin as he prepared to write the next chapter. A chapter filled with hope, a tribute to the love that transcends even the most profound divisions. With the stars twinkling overhead, Noah made his way back to the forest, stepping into the embrace of nature that had witnessed his transformation. He could see the cabin glowing in the moonlight, a beacon of hope guiding him home. Each moment spent there would not just be about unraveling the past. It would be about embracing the present and building a future steeped in the love that had once shaped his family. Noah was ready to reclaim his narrative, to honor the lives that had come before him, and finally carve a space of belonging in a world that had once felt so distant. As Noah approached the cabin, a renewed energy surged through him, the air thick with possibility. The moon cast a silvery glow over the landscape, illuminating the way like a guiding star. He paused on the porch to inhale the crisp night air, the scent of pine mixing with the earth, a comforting embrace he had long yearned for. This sanctuary had transformed from a site of sorrow and unanswered questions into a beacon of warmth and belonging, drawing him closer to his family's legacy. Inside, Noah moved purposefully. The trunk still sat in the basement, brimming with letters that chronicled the stories of his parents. Each letter was more than just a piece of paper. It was a testament to their love, struggles, and resilience. Inspired by the revelations from the past and the connection he felt with his family, Noah knew he needed to ensure their stories would not fade into obscurity. The air was thick with purpose as he resolved to organize the letters and compile them, allowing the narrative to unfold like a cherished book. With dawn approaching, he immersed himself in the letters, arranging them chronologically. Each note poured forth memories, emotions, and echoes of laughter that had once filled their lives. He marveled at the revelations within, the intricate tapestry of love, pain, and redemption that bound their family together. It was a rediscovery that awakened something deep inside him. As the sun began to rise, illuminating the cabin in warm hues, Noah envisioned how he could share this purpose with the world beyond the forest. He thought about the town's community center, a gathering place where tales were exchanged, connections were forged, and memories shared. He envisioned a project that would honor the narratives of others, starting with his own family and growing to encompass the rich stories of the entire community. With newfound determination, he took out his phone, documenting the letters through photographs and beginning to create an outline for a storytelling initiative that could breathe life into their histories. In the following days, Noah worked tirelessly. He reached out to local historians, educators, and community leaders, sharing his vision for a storytelling workshop where people could gather, express, and listen to each other's experiences. His heart raced with excitement as support began rolling in. Others resonated with his passion for connecting the threads of shared humanity. Each person he spoke to replaced his anxiety with enthusiasm as more voices joined his cause. Finally, the day of the first storytelling workshop arrived, and Noah's heart raced with anticipation. The community center buzzed with life, filled with laughter and the aroma of freshly baked goods. Participants trickled in, people eager to share their stories and hear those of others. Noah felt a sense of belonging swell within him. He was among people who understood the power of vulnerability and connection. He found himself standing before them, sharing his own journey, his search for the cabin, his discovery of the letters, and his family's legacy. As Noah spoke, he could see the emotions reflected in the eyes of those gathered. They felt the resonance of his words, and when it was their turn, they began to share their stories, their own struggles and triumphs, the pain they had carried, and the love that had rebuilt their spirits. Each account contributed to the momentum of connection, and as the evening unfolded, he witnessed the magic of shared vulnerability, transforming the room into a sanctuary of healing and hope. The workshops blossomed week by week, growing into soul-nurturing gatherings where laughter and tears intertwined. Noah realized that through their stories, bonds formed and relationships strengthened, weaving a rich tapestry of community support. Each narrative contributed to a collective history, and as they engaged with each other's lives, they inspired one another to continue finding strength amidst adversity. As the months passed, the storytelling project evolved into something beautiful, a community mosaic that inspired not only those participating but the entire town. Noah organized a final gathering to celebrate their shared experiences, feeling a swell of gratitude for every person who had opened their heart. He could feel his parents' spirit with him, guiding him toward this newfound purpose and connection, and he was overwhelmed by the realization of the love that had been rekindled. The evening of the celebration arrived. The town hall was decorated with strings of lights and tables laden with pictures and notes from past workshops. Friends and families joined together, laughter ringing through the air as they reflected on their journeys and shared uplifting stories. Noah stood at the center, emotions swelling within him as he looked around the room, filled with faces illuminated by warmth and compassion. He took a breath and spoke, his voice steady but filled with feeling. We each carry our stories, our truths, and by sharing them, we not only honor ourselves but each other. Together, we've created a space where vulnerability is embraced and love flourishes. We are connected by our shared experiences, and through this connection we find the strength to rise with hope. As Noah's words hung in the air, the room erupted into applause. He felt a surge of joy, knowing that the journey he had undertaken had created ripples that resonated deeply, encouraging others to step forward and be heard. In that moment, he realized that he had transformed not only his own narrative, but also that of countless others. They had built a sanctuary of collective resilience and love. Stepping outside into the night, Noah breathed deeply as the cool air filled his lungs. He looked up at the stars, each twinkling light a memory of those who had loved and lost, and he felt rooted in a legacy that would continue to grow. The cabin was no longer just a shelter filled with the echoes of the past. It had become a home, a place of healing and transformation where love blossomed anew. As he reflected on his journey, the realization settled within him. He had not only reclaimed his narrative, he had woven a powerful testament to belonging. Noah found peace in knowing that he would continue to carry forth the stories of his family while becoming a voice for others in a world that yearned for connection. Ultimately, he understood that all a child ever needs, and all any of us ever need, is to feel heard, seen, and embraced in the warmth of community. As the echoes of applause faded from the community center, Noah lingered outside the cabin, the cool night air filling his lungs with a refreshing clarity. The stars above twinkled brightly, each one a reminder of those who had come before him, guiding him in his journey of discovery and belonging. Here, amidst the shadows of the past, he felt a deep connection to his family's legacy, reaffirming the importance of the stories they had left behind. Days quickly turned into weeks, and the storytelling project flourished beyond Noah's wildest dreams. What had started as a simple desire to honor his parents transformed into a vibrant community movement, bringing together neighbors eager to share their experiences. The community center became a hub of creativity, where lives intersected through heartfelt narratives and artistic expressions. Each workshop felt electric, and Noah thrived in this newfound sense of purpose, his heart swelling with gratitude as he listened to the stories that poured forth. Every meeting brought fresh faces and new tales, and the air crackled with the promise of connection. Each shared experience was a thread woven into the intricate tapestry of their community, revealing the resilience and strength in vulnerability. Wonderful friendships blossomed. People formed partnerships not only for storytelling, but for support in navigating their ongoing struggles, creating an atmosphere rich with warmth and empathy. Still, amid the vibrant energy surrounding him, Noah felt a persistent urge deep within to explore his family history in greater detail. He longed to peel back the layers and uncover the specific circumstances that had shaped his parents' choices, the events that had ultimately led him to this moment of reclamation. With a renewed sense of self, he sought to honor them not just as figures in the past, but as crucial pieces of the ongoing narrative. Noah reached out to local historians, eager to dive into the archives that preserved the essence of the town's history. Stepping into the small sun-drenched room filled with dusty shelves, the air thick with stories waiting to be uncovered, he felt both excitement and trepidation. Each document and photograph became a puzzle piece as he pieced together the complex picture of his family's story. In the archives, he stumbled upon articles and records chronicling a community struggle during his parents' youth. It painted a vivid backdrop of the challenges his family faced, revealing the broader societal pressures they encountered as they fought to cultivate love and belonging in difficult circumstances. Noah absorbed the details, realizing that his parents had been courageous warriors against odds he had barely understood. Each revelation deepened his connection to them, fueling his desire to honor their legacies. Inspired by these findings, Noah resolved to organize a special event, one that would pay tribute to the shared histories of families in the community. It would be an evening dedicated to recounting the nuanced tales of love, loss, and resilience, reflecting both his parents' legacy and the interconnected stories of those around him. He envisioned a gathering where these tales could intertwine, highlighting the richness of experiences yet to be honored. As the planning unfolded, the excitement in the town was palpable. Families began sharing their artifacts and stories to contribute to the evening. Noah felt the anticipation build. The event was designed not only to uncover personal histories, but also to create an engaging dialogue that nurtured an understanding of community resilience. On the night of the event, the community center sparkled with warm lights and cheerful decorations, creating an inviting atmosphere. Noah welcomed everyone with open arms, emphasizing the significance of their shared experiences. He encouraged attendees to embrace vulnerability, To recognize the power of storytelling in fostering empathy and connection, one by one, families stepped into the light, sharing their histories with candor. Each story chimed like a note in a beautiful symphony. Fragments of celebration and sorrow weaved together into a rich narrative tapestry. As he listened, Noah felt a profound sense of unity blossoming throughout the room. Each participant's voice amplified the essence of shared experience. They were no longer just neighbors, but a collective force of resilience. Laughter and tears intertwined as bonds of understanding formed, with everyone becoming witnesses to the upheavals and victories that defined their lives. With the evening winding down, Noah took center stage once more, gratitude swelling in his heart. Tonight we have honored not just our histories but each other, he acknowledged. In sharing our truth, we create bonds that transcend our individual stories, and together we build a legacy of love and resilience. The applause rang out like a heartbeat, resonating with the collective spirit of the experience they had shared. Noah knew in that moment that they had forged something extraordinary within their community, an understanding that echoed through time, bridging past and present. In reclaiming their stories, they had crafted a tapestry uniquely their own. As Noah stepped outside into the cool night air, he gazed up at the stars twinkling overhead. Each glimmer reminded him that they all shared a common heritage, a constellation of narratives contributing to the universe's expansive light. He felt anchored to the past while moving confidently into the future, surrounded by a community woven together by love, connection, and the transformative power of storytelling. Noah finally knew he was home. As the weeks flowed by, the impact of the storytelling event reshaped the community dynamic. Noah marveled at the subtle changes unfolding around him. Neighbors who once exchanged only polite nods now paused to share thoughts and anecdotes. The air buzzed with a newfound openness, transforming the community into a living tapestry of connection and empathy. Encouraged by this newfound spirit, Noah decided to expand the storytelling initiative. He envisioned monthly gatherings dedicated to celebrating cultural heritage, inviting families to share not just their stories, but also their traditions and recipes that had shaped their lives. As these events evolved, they became vibrant festivals of culture, rich with life and joy. On the evening of the first heritage-themed gathering, the community center practically pulsed with energy. Colorful decorations adorned the walls, each one a representation of diverse backgrounds coming together. The delightful aroma of spiced dishes filled the space, drawing Noah back to his childhood meals shared with family. It felt as if his parents were with him in spirit, guiding him forward on this journey. Families stepped up in sequence, bravely sharing tales deeply rooted in their heritage. A grandmother spoke of her ancestors' migration and the sacrifices made to find a new home. Nearby, a young girl sang a folk song that her family had passed down, her voice weaving through the air and touching hearts. Each shared memory resonated through the room, creating a chorus of experiences that felt both profoundly unique and universally familiar. As he listened, Noah felt the powerful bond of empathy weaving itself around the attendees. The stories opened windows into each person's heart, inviting understanding and forging connections. Laughter intertwined with tears as they became witnesses to each other's journeys, united by a rich fabric of resilience woven from shared hardships and victories. When the gathering reached its climax, Noah stepped forward again, his heart filled with gratitude. "Tonight we honored not only our histories but each other," he said, his voice steady. "By sharing our truths, we cultivate bonds that transcend our individual stories, building a legacy of love and resilience together." Thunderous applause erupted around him, validating the power of what they had built as a community. Noah realized they were creating something momentous, an understanding that echoed through time, transitioning their past into a collective future that celebrated every contribution. In the following months, Noah noticed a ripple effect. The storytelling gatherings caught the attention of neighbors from surrounding towns, curious to witness the magic of this community celebration. Encouraged by their enthusiasm, Noah planned to facilitate workshops and open spaces for others to share, feeling a growing sense of responsibility to spread this beautiful connection beyond their immediate community. He envisioned a network where families could continue to narrate their stories and experiences, drawing strength from one another. This greater movement began to flourish, igniting a passion for storytelling that reached every corner of their shared world. For Noah, this evolution fulfilled a deeper longing. It became clear that he was no longer just reclaiming his family's narrative, but fostering a profound understanding among all who participated. As each gathering unfolded, Noah recognized that the stories being told were not merely individual accounts, but a collective testament to perseverance, love, and human connection. He embraced these moments not only as opportunities for learning, but also as avenues for healing, a bridge that could unite diverse backgrounds under a common theme. In expanding the initiative, Noah felt a growing sense of purpose. Each evening spent sharing tales further solidified the idea that everyone had a voice deserving of being heard. This powerful realization clarified that by honoring one another's stories, they could overcome differences, weaving solidarity that would ultimately uplift their community as a whole. Noah realized he had created more than a space for storytelling. He had ignited a movement of shared understanding and compassion, one that honored the past while forging brighter paths forward. He felt the beating heart of his community pulse in rhythm with his own, uniting them in their shared commitment to creating a world where every voice mattered. A world where stories became the strands knitting their lives together. With every gathering, Noah discovered a part of himself woven into each narrative shared. He marveled at the legacy of heritage being created, grounded in a collective understanding that embraced vulnerability and connection. As he looked toward the future, he felt the warmth of hope and belonging wrap around him, affirming that together they could build something transformative.